Hi there, welcome back. It's Deb here with a wonderful Rod Stewart Tribute act. Bob Wyper, brilliant. And if you would like to take Bob's place on the sofa and come and have a chat with me for an hour one day, please get in touch with me. You can email me, debi@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. That's Debi, spelled D-E-B-I, at holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Bob, with all the travelling that you've done, because there's an awful lot of travelling in this business, isn't there? And you come from Scotland, you probably got it a bit harder than most. I mean, I'm thinking back to last year when I couldn't believe it. I was driving round, well, my husband was, the Hightown Bends in our area, and it was -17 one night last December. We couldn't believe it. What sort of problems have you come across with the weather in Scotland?
I've got to say, thankfully, there wasn't much of a problem at all for the first couple of years, but last year, like everyone would see on the news, it was pretty severe all over. And we were trapped with 5,000 other people at one point on the short road between Perth and Dundee.
5,000 people?
5,000 people
on the road in cars?
On the road, yeah.
No.
And most of us made it to one town or the other, depending which direction we were pointing at the time.
Yeah.
And Maggie and I were in the van knowing that we're struggling. Now, the night before that, we were in Aberdeen playing and heading down. And as we left Aberdeen, we were struggling to get into the city because the snow had started. Right. And we even got to the point that if we don't take this hill right now, this is where we're sleeping. Yeah. So we had to push the van and make sure it got there, and it made it. Yeah. So that was the next morning. We were then travelling down and hit this next patch of snow, which was pretty severe. Oh yeah. I've never seen it so bad in all my life. I mean, that was the worst one.
And there is talk that it could be a bit like that this winter.
Yeah, they can talk away. Yeah. They've predicted the global warming, now it's the ice age, so we'll wait and see what we get.
I think you're right. Now what we're going to do now is take a look at Bob in action. So here he is, Mr. Rod Stewart himself, Bob Wyper.
Some guys have all the pain. Some guys get all the breaks. Some guys do nothing but complain. Alone in the ground on a bus after working and dreaming. The guy next to me has a gun in his arms. My arms are empty. How does it feel when the girl next to you says she loves you? It seems so unfair when there's love everywhere and there's none for me. Some guys have all the luck. Some guys have all the pain. Some guys get all the breaks. Some guys do nothing but complain. Across the street, the river runs. Down in the gutter, life is slipping away. Love may still exist in another place, running under cover of a helicopter gate. The flames are getting higher in effigy, burning down the bridges of my memory. Love may still be alive somewhere someday, where the dying only dear 100 still towns away. By the rhythm of my heart, yes, beating like a drum, with the words I love you rolling off my tongue. Never will I roam, for I know my place is home. When the ocean meets the sky, I'll be safe.
that super? Wasn't that great? Oh, do you know what? You're so quiet and sort of just nice and sensible and interesting and quite self-deprecating. And then there you are up on that stage giving it bifters. That was fabulous.
It's all down to preparation. If you get the preparation right, I believe you can deliver the show, and that's what it's about these days.
Well, I think that was one of the most super videos I've seen. It was fabulous. Where do you get, I mean, they look so authentic. That jacket you've got on, the stripy one that you had on, where do you get your clothes?
Well, the stripy one on the video, actually, it came from Los Angeles. But it was actually made in London, and I got it on eBay.
Right.
I hunted for hours to find something that I really wanted, and that one looked the part, and when it arrived it's just become part of me.
It does, it looks so. What about this quiet little pink number?
Well, we've got this, and there's the brand new amber one as well, the same make. This is raw silk, and these actually come from the Far East.
Right.
And we get them tailor-made.
Do you notice it matches the lampshade just as well?
That was deliberate. That's why I wore this and not the amber, because I actually saw one of your shows.
Oh, I'm flattered. How lovely.
We make the effort.
You certainly have. Now, when you say we make the effort, your lovely wife, Maggie, who's downstairs, she's more than just a wife and a helper and a driver. She sets the whole thing up, doesn't she? Tell us a bit about her role.
It's unbelievable. I mean, we turn up, we're a minimum of 2 hours building a stage. And we even carry our own stages in case a venue doesn't have them.
Oh, right, so the actual elevated stage you carry?
Everything. So we'll build the stage if it's needed, or use it as podiums for jumping off if it's not, and have some fun. And then we decorate them all with silk to match the jackets and everything. We've got silk drapes that we hang from the gantry that she builds. Then she puts up a star cloth and then a net curtain, which, funnily enough, we had this a month before Rod Stewart used it in Tenerife. Although ours is only 6 feet high and his is 60 feet. It was exactly that effect that he used.
Right.
And so he's been watching our website, I'll tell you. There's something going on.
So what is your website?
It's just Rod Stewart Show. www.rodstewartshow.co.uk is mine. And .com is the American lad that I've come to know quite well.
Great.
He's probably the best in the whole world. There's a guy called Rob Cowdell, so a lovely guy as well.
Well, that's very generous of you to give him the kudos. Because,
he's excellent.
That's lovely. Well, anyone that's interested in getting in touch with Bob, I mean, you can get in touch with him. Rod Stewart Show?
rodstewartshow.co.uk.
It's just www.rodstewartshow.co.uk. But of course, if you can't remember that, get in touch with me, and I'll always pass any inquiries on, because do you find you're working constantly?
Yeah, we're fully booked for months ahead, and when people see the show, you would understand why, because it's a big show in its own right. Through all the things we spoke about, with Maggie building such a big stage with all the lighting and gantries and silk drapes, and then delivering the show is actually 2 to 2.5 hours non-stop. It's like a concert. So,
and the fact that your children are grown up now, aren't they? So you don't have to juggle your business, you and Maggie. You can just go and do it.
We've been doing our own thing for the last few years, which is great. It's been great for her as much as me, because she's been reborn. Instead of being an admin clerk with other businesses that I was running, she would do it this way instead and still be involved with me. Because at one point we tried to get roadies to come and do the work, and I'll tell you, nobody can do the job as well as she could. And the ones that tried failed miserably.
Really?
So she's not only that, she's good at it. That's the difference.
So she's genuinely the wind beneath your wings.
Honestly,
How lovely. And she actually lugs everything about as well. Go on, tell me you give her a bit of a hand with the lifting.
I've had to help her on a couple of occasions when she was, well, only if she asked.
Tell me about your voice as well. Rod Stewart's voice is naturally like that. You were saying earlier on that you would, when you used to have a cold or whatever, you'd sing Rod Stewart voices in the middle, and it'd be a bit gravelly, but you could do it. Doesn't it hurt your voice to sing like that all the time?
No, it's not something that's painful, because basically I'm learning to relax into the role, and the whole thing. If the preparation's there and you've done the homework, and you're not actually pushing the voice, it becomes natural, and that's what I've become as an impersonator.
Right.
And when I was singing with a duo before, I was really impersonating every artist with every song.
Yeah.
I mean, I would sing Macy Gray like Macy Gray.
Right.
Then I would do Anastasia.
Right.
And then I would do Prince, as I said, or Sting, or Elvis even, which is the easiest one of them all.
Well, it is actually. And so Rod Stewart, his voice, has by default become your natural voice.
Only for singing now. I've only done one show, I think, in the last 4 years that wasn't Rod Stewart, so it's been difficult to be anything else.
Yeah.
And that night I did some Brian Ferry and David Bowie, and I had the time of my life just going back to the things that I loved most.
Yeah.
But then I remember just how good and how big Rod's catalogue of songs is, and it's been great. Yeah. So you got all the good and bad of everything that way. Yeah.
And so your voice stays pretty hale and hearty most of the time.
I think it does, just because it keeps working.
Yeah. Well, as they say, use it or lose it. My Lord, you use it. We'll be back with you in just 2 minutes.